We having a great time in the building. Listen, I want to welcome y'all to the You Wasn't Outside podcast on the Grown Folks Podcast Network. I'm one of your hosts, not doing the most.
Hello,
Normal ass Karl. To my front,
Lex.
Just Lex isn't here today, but we got somebody new. We have Miss Victoria Rose. I don't want to take away your shine. I'm gonna let you do all your tags, all your name tags. Let us know a little bit about you, and we'll start from there.
Okay. I mean, I try to keep it pretty simple, pretty much on every single social media platform you could think of. Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. It's just at she.is.Victoria Rose, because I just am who I am.
There you go. All right, so it's great because, I think, in telling this story, I met you probably about 2 years ago, randomly, right? On the side of Cow's Mountain. That was when we were really big on going outside, right? So we're the You Wasn't Outside podcast on the Grown Folks Podcast Network, but we ain't outside anymore. So we was at Cow's Mountain, and I was telling you that my cousin, who isn't here with us today, right, but that he was filling in. And that Lex was out. Now, funny is that Lex is out today, right? So he's out again. So I know one of these times you'll get a chance to meet him and whatnot.
As fate would have it.
As fate would have it.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a podcast that you're starting up, and we're doing a little bit of collaboration. And I, said that we was going to speak about some things. So kind of tell me a little bit of the rundown of like how you got here in regards to wanting to do podcasting and whatnot from there.
Yeah, so when you first met me, I was just full on in business mode. So I'm a serial entrepreneur. I like to say serial entrepreneur. Mm-hmm. And I have 3 businesses, and I'm busy, but booked and busy all the time.
All day. There's
but
nothing wrong with that.
I just launched my podcast on the 10th of this month, and it's been a long time coming. I mean, it's my true calling, and I've been sitting in this for a very long time, fighting the calling that I've been having to really step into my purpose. And so the theme of my podcast is I show my scars so you know that you can heal. So, people look at me on the outside and they think that they have it all figured out. And, it's human nature for us to judge people from the outside. But most people wouldn't know that I was in foster care growing up. Okay. Most people wouldn't know that I was raised by a single mother before then, and my father was absent. And most people wouldn't know that I used to be 250 pounds. And so a lot of who I am as a person, I've hid from the world and fear of judgment. And I'm learning there's so much strength in owning your truth and exposing your scars so that other people can see the strength in community and being raw and vulnerable.
So that's the premise of it. So when did you wake up and say, you know what, it's time? When was that turning point where it was it's time? I may have known that my calling was to, speak to people and speak life into them and be able to help them along their journey. But what was that day, or what was that activating event that was like, you know what, I need to do this?
I just had my heart broken.
That'll do it to you.
Oh, yeah.
that would do it to you.
It was the greatest love that I ever knew. And it was so short-lived. We were only together for 2 months, but this man loved me in a way that I had never experienced. And he actually encouraged me to step into my purpose. He was the one that told me, you need to be doing this. You need to stop fighting it. And this is what's going to bring everything together. Yeah. And you're going to find your true success and alignment, everything. Because I was just all over the place. 3 businesses.
Yeah,
and
that gets you running around.
They're all connected and aligned in a certain way, but I wasn't living in my purpose and my passion. And when you start to live in your purpose and your passion, everything else starts to fall in line and everything else starts to just work. So, he was encouraging me to do that while we were together, but it was the heartbreak that really set fire to my purpose.
And what is your purpose, if you don't mind me asking? Are you able to share that?
Yeah. I mean, the purpose is to bring people closer to God, to speak my testimony. Like, I'm like, God didn't bring me through all these trials and tribulations for me not to, share my triumphs and that with the world. Right. So the whole entire premise of it, like I said, is, showing my scars so other people know that they can heal, because I'm healing.
Yes.
I'm trying to heal. And I figured that I've been doing it for so many years. I don't know if you're ever fully healed. Like, you're always going to be working on your healing. That's what my
question was to you, right? Like how, like it, part of what I was saying is this, right? And I'm not saying this from like, this is what's going to happen. But it's like, hey, look, like, consider it. 5 years in the game and doing podcasting and stuff like that. Maybe 6 now that I think about it. My math is bad. What is this, 24? 7. Yeah. 7.
Wow.
Most podcasts, right? You're not doing it to get paid. So I love that you said that, right? It's amazing. Like, everything that you're saying is like within. But, most people don't figure out how to monetize, or maybe like what you have may not be what is appropriate for the market at that time. But we're not worried about money. We're worried about getting our truth out there. So that's out the window. Right. Some people, they get away from it because of the production, and like something goes out, I got to pay for this. But if you really care and you're passionate about what you're doing, right, and helping others, right, then I feel like you had a great niche. That was what my point was. I didn't want it to come from a place of hate, because we was talking like in the DMs and stuff like that, but I felt like, that's what I was trying to say. 90% of them don't get past that 21st episode. Yeah. So when you were like, I'm going 24, I said, okay, she gonna make it past the 21st anyway. So, and I got a chance to listen. Right, and I thought that it was amazing, right? So, thank you. You're not born and raised in San Diego. Where are you from?
Jersey.
All right,
born and raised Jersey girl.
And what made you decide to come out here?
So I have extended family out here, and that's from my mom's side. So my great uncle, who was like a grandfather to me, I called him Poppy, and all my second and third cousins, which were more like my aunts and first cousins, the way Italian culture works. And I had reconnected with them when I was in college through Facebook. And I always wanted and felt the desire to be a part of a family and have a sense of belonging. Right. So I started visiting as an adult, trying to reconnect with them and bond with them, and realize like this truly feels like the family I always wanted to be around. Yes. So after I got out of a 5-year relationship, I decided, it's time for a new start. Let me just start all over. And I packed up whatever could fit in my car, and I drove 3,000 miles across country and started over. And the whole premise of that was just wanting to bond myself with family and be somewhere that I felt loved and supported. And for the first 3 years of like moving out here, it was wonderful. Yes. Like, I bonded with them, we connected, and we lived in the same house. It was set up like an Italian combine in that sense. Like, everybody had like their own entrance and stuff. Now wait,
let me ask you this, because this is interesting to me. Yeah. Because like Little Italy, it's called Little Italy for a reason. Yeah. Right.
That's where I live now.
Okay, so there we go. Now we're getting close to what I'm talking about. Where are all the Italians at out here?
Yeah, there's not many in comparison to Jersey, at least.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
Like, my pop was one of the original Jersey boys, believe it or not. He sang with Frankie Valli in the Four Seasons. Okay. He was one of those kids that grew up on the corner and the doo-wop and all of that. He thought he was better than them, and they made it without him.
He might be right, though.
Well, he did end up having a singing career. He sang with President Nixon.
Oh, see, he got all that.
But he wasn't as big time as they were. But to the day that he died, like, he was still good friends with Frankie Valli, and he would call the house, and my mom had a picture sitting on his lap while my pop was, cutting his hair, because he ended up being a barber. Like, this man was a legend. Right. But no, we lived in Lakeside, actually. We and
there's other Italians like out in the Lakeside area.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we were the Mangiavolano family.
All right, there we go. All right, yeah. Because I was trying to figure out, because like I know black people live in Southeast. You go to Chula Vista, it's like the Latinos and stuff. You go up north, you got more like,
there's more Chaldeans actually where we live.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
It was more Chaldeans there, but my pop wasn't a rich man. Like, that man worked every day till the day he died. He had a barbershop in Poway. Yeah, and he had loyal clientele, and that's where he could afford to buy a house, and they kept building onto it and building holding on to it. And, we all, my aunt and uncle were in the upstairs studio. I was in a room built off the back of the house.
Yes.
And, my grandparents, my great aunt and great uncle were in like a granny flat that was built off to the side. And then in the main house was my cousin with her husband and their 2 kids. And like we all lived together and we all had like our own space.
Yes.
You know? So, but yeah, I ended up buying my first property, which was my condo, which was in City Heights. So I finally moved out. And my pop passed away just before that. And that ruined it ruined us, all of us. Right. Like death either brings you closer together or it tears you apart. And unfortunately in this situation, it tore our family apart. So I'm actually not in communication really with my family anymore.
And that's even like more, those are more scars, right?
100%.
And those are things that like what you're saying and it resonates with me because that same thing I'm afraid of in my family because, we're all not designed to be here forever. But, my grandfather passed. There was some rift. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. We've gotten past that. So just to make you feel better on the other side, like we've gotten past it as a family. It took years, though. Yeah. This is something that happened when I was in college in 2013.
Yeah, this is 2018, and my cousin still hasn't spoken to me since I moved out.
Yeah,
I was the maid of honor in her wedding.
Was it? Was it? That's crazy. I do have a cousin that I live with. We went to college and everything 6 years together, and I don't speak with him.
Yeah.
And it's more so like at this age though, and maybe you can resonate with that, but at this age it's like I'm not going to give you the negative energy that we used to have maybe, or that I would give to someone else. Like the maturity in me is like, yo, if we get to a better spot later on, I'm open to that, but as of right now, we're not there. I'm
a very forgiving person.
Yeah.
Like I
So you're saying it's not even your side. It's it's on the other side
like
of things.
I miss the fuck out of her.
Yeah.
Like if she were to call me today, I would welcome her with open arms. But I've had to learn in growing and maturing that it's two-sided. You can't force people to meet you where you're at. And some people just truly are unforgiving, and the way that she's treating me, not wanting to speak to me and completely exiling me from the family. For the past couple holidays, I've spent them alone. I don't even get invitations to join the family. She was upset that I moved out after Pop had passed away. She felt like, we need you, and how are you moving out right now? And, Pop was like her father. It was her grandfather, but he adopted her. Yeah. And I had never really experienced that kind of loss until my mom passed away a year later. And so 2019 is when my mom passed away.
So we had just talked at the time, and you had talked about that because I want to say it was 2020, like when I met you, and that was like the only thing that was open. Go ahead.
Yep, exactly. So, I until you go through certain things in life, it's hard to have empathy or sympathy for somebody. And, I was grieving too. Yeah. Like Pop I moved out here for him.
Exactly, yeah.
But her grief was way deeper. And, at the time I didn't have the understanding. And I'm like, well, I set a goal for myself. Like I want to buy a house in my 38th year. Like that. And, it's nothing personal. Like I'm moving out because this is what I need to do for myself. I'm a grown ass woman. I can't live at home forever. And not only that, like I had been on my own since I was 15. Like this was the first time that I was actually living with family. And so it was beautiful and I enjoyed that time. But in the same token, it was like time for a new chapter. And it ended up turning out pretty nasty. Like she was like, oh, well, because I was renovating my condo. I bought it and I gutted it. And I was like, hey, I might need to stay like an extra month if I stay. Is it okay if I stay a couple more days into February in case the renovation takes longer? And she's like, if you're here the first day in February, you're paying the full month's rent. Wow. Like I'm not prorating it. And the guy that I was dating at the time was like, that's not what family does to each other. Like, that's not okay. Like I'm moving you out. We're going to put your stuff in storage. And I was still in corporate at the time. So like I wasn't going to take off of work to move. And I already had everything scheduled. Like, having the U-Haul and friends helping that, they're helping on the weekends. So it was, I think, like the 2nd of February that we actually moved out. And she threatened to like have the the locks changed on me.
Oh, shoot.
And I was like, go ahead and do it.
I don't even think that's legal to do that, though.
Right?
Yeah, I think there's like, tenant laws.
Yeah, I was like, go ahead and do it. Like, I'm going to call the cops, and I'm going to have to get my stuff out of there to move. Like, you're just going to look stupid.
Right.
So anyway, I moved my stuff that day. And I took all the things with me that I had purchased. Like, I had replaced the lighting fixtures in the room, like the chandeliers and, you know, the doorknob to a locking doorknob. And I think that was like the only two things. But when I left, I took them with me. So there was no light fixtures and there was no doorknob. But like, I vacuumed and I, you know, did touch-up paint and holes in the wall, like everything. Took care of it.
So you're not afraid to get your hands dirty?
No. And you know, I'm
outside looking in. I'd be like, I don't know if she gonna paint or not, right? That's what I'm saying. I'm there we go.
I get down.
I ain't mad.
I was raised by a single mom, so I saw her do it all.
Exactly. Yeah. That's good.
So I left it in tip-top condition the way I found it, but she felt like I was unappreciative, and how could I leave her house without light fixtures and a doorknob, and told the family that I was ungrateful. And I'm like, you want to treat me like a tenant and tell me you're going to lock me out and I got to pay rent. Don't be mad when I act like a tenant. And the thing is that I wasn't even trying to be petty. I'm literally buying my first property and things are tight. I'm strapped. Like, I'm going to
and they're making it harder on you too, because that's just not easy doing all that. Realtors calling you all day long, and then I need this from you. Can you fax this over? Go ahead.
So I'm like, I'm gonna reuse all these things in my new place. It's less things that I have to buy for my new place. If you're a landlord, you should have kept the original doorknobs and light fixtures that was switched out, because you know her husband is the one that helped me to replace everything. Right. So if he didn't keep it and store it in the shed, that's not my problem. Right. But ultimately, she's unforgiving, and when she feels crossed, there's like no coming back from that. And she cut me off after that. And we actually had her stepdaughter, so her husband's daughter, was like a niece to me. And I would literally take her to Disneyland, and we would do the fair every year. Oh,
so she's part of the package too, of like, yo,
all the things. And they were keeping me from seeing her.
That's crazy.
Right. And I'm just like, and she wanted to see me. So her mom, his ex-wife, ended up getting in touch with me saying she wants to see you. And so, of course, I'm not going to not see my little baby. Mm-hmm. And so I start seeing her, and she found out and just felt like completely betrayed. Like, now you're fraternizing with the enemy. This is his ex-wife. And I get it, but it's like, you're also keeping me away from my niece, and that's wrong too. So so much damage was done along the way, and I just realized I can't force anyone to see my perspective. I can't force anyone to forgive. Right. And if that's the space that she wants to live in, then I have to leave her where she's at. But ultimately, now I'm alone, and I don't have any family, and I moved out here.
And that's my question to you, right? So so you moved from Jersey to here. Do you enjoy being here though?
I do. I made a beautiful life for myself here. I mean, what's not to love about San Diego? I moved here for family, but it being San Diego is the cherry on top. And the fact that I was able to create a life that's sustainable. Right. And it's, you know, some people can't afford to live here.
So you don't have any desire to move back to Jersey, though?
Hell no.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah. So then there's too many, like, pains of the past there. And the weather is crappy. Like,
that is true. I'll give you that, right? So in your healing journey then, right? Yeah. Part of your podcast is for you to heal, but then also to heal with others. So what are you trying to achieve with that, right? Because some of that healing could be based off of what you're saying, right? Is facing some of those things, right? Maybe, they haven't hit me up or whatever, but maybe I'll set like an arrangement for us to meet, try to have a conversation, how that would go, right? And then, you know, even hearing other people's, you know, stories too, right? I'm just brainstorming ways, right? Because you get to your 24 episodes. Let's say you get to your 24, and then maybe you have somebody come on, right? Yeah. That may be an expert or something like that. Right. Just different ideas to ping pong 100%. Off you. But what does that healing look like for you? How do you know for you that you're healed? And what would you like to do for others? Go ahead.
Yeah, it's not a one size fits all, you know, and I've considered all of these things. Like, I'm still friends with one of my ex-boyfriends, so there's 3 episodes that are dedicated to the 3 great loves in my life. Yes. the girlfriend part 1, part 2, and part 3. And the girlfriend part 2, that ex and I are still friends.
Yes.
I say friends lately because it's not like we hang out or talk all the time, but like we're not in a bad place.
Right.
And so we're very supportive of each other from a distance. And he's actually agreed to come on the podcast. So
that's pretty dope.
Yeah. So that's going to be a guest episode. Like, I'm going to obviously tell my story, but he's going to have an option to talk about his experience dating me.
Right.
And what
that's
we learned.
Crazy. You get somebody to sign up for that.
Right.
That's what.
Right.
Oh man, I got to ask my wife if I could do that.
Right.
That's dope.
Right. So that's going to be healing, right? Is exposing both sides of it. Right. And then, I welcome people to give me their honest commentary and hold me accountable and tell me where I'm messing up. Like, a lot of times people lack self-awareness because they don't even share their truths and they're too afraid to face themselves. So I think that there's power in healing in having a community of people. And so that's really my goal in this, is to build a community of people that can join me on this journey and keep me honest and share with me their experiences, and have some guests that are on the show that bring different perspectives, or hopefully, get the attention of some top psychologists even, or therapists that are willing and able to shed some light on some issues that I talk about. But it's more like, I feel like on Instagram, everyone shows all the good and the happy things.
Right, yeah. That's
and
nasty
everything
part.
Looks picture perfect. And I'm guilty of it. I've done it before, but I'm done doing that.
I wanted to ask you that for years.
Yeah.
I never asked because it was like, I really don't know her. I've never seen her, but I still support her like when she has like her content up. But it was like, because the irony is that when you sent your podcast, I'm all about being real, right? So there's a dude, my man Jonah, that I sent to you, right?
Yeah.
I told him when we met up at the little podcast meetup, I was like, bro, I hated on you when I first met you. I was like, yo, this dude out here, he does wild stuff. Like, when I say wild, like he goes to like a level of content that I just won't go to because of where I work at, right? So that's hate, right? But not in regards to him, in regards to myself.
Right.
But meeting him, he's dope. Now I tell you what, I had a birthday on the 20th of December. That motherfucker was there. Appreciate it. But he was there. That's my guy now.
Yeah.
Like, we talk and and converse. So when I say this to you, right, I'm just saying that this is what my brain was telling me, right? So like, if I go through your Instagram, it's like, yo, there was no photos before 2019. Then what got me is that I saw that you had the load up and you showed when you were a heavier version of you.
Right.
And I was like, yo, that's such a dope story that like, you may have hid, that like people would have resonated with that, and maybe now resonate now that you've been open about that. So my question to you is, what were you running from? Right. Now, some of the things that you said, you had some experience in foster care, right? I understand that, right? And I'll tell you off mic why I understand that a lot. And so it's like, how did those things affect you for you to land and say, you know what, I want to live in my truth, I want to be organically myself, and why would you hide those things in the first place? That's a lot of load in there, right? My bad, but
I hid them because I was embarrassed and I was afraid of judgment. I was always a heavier, chubbier girl.
Until when?
Until I had that surgery. So even when I was like middle school and even like high school, I wasn't much heavier than I am now, but at that age I was considered like the fat girl.
Were you smaller in stature though?
Yeah, I mean, without heels on, I'm almost 5'4".
For real?
So yeah,
I don't know why I thought you was like 5'10". Maybe the heels.
Everyone always thinks I'm taller than I am. I'm just a personality larger than life. But I am like a shorter person, and I think in high school was probably like around 155 or something. But I went to an all-white high school for the most part.
Okay.
And I don't really I look more exotic than the white girls that I went to school with. I'm white. I'm Italian.
Yeah.
But the blonde hair, blue-eyed, six-figure girls, like, the cheerleaders didn't accept me, and so I'm curvy and I, developed way faster than they did. And so, they were calling me fat girl. And then that was around the time that movie came out. Was it Big Daddy?
Oh, with Adam Sandler?
Yeah, big boobs schmagee. And the boys would always make fun of me because I'm in third grade now, and I'm out of training bras and underwire bras. Oh. And they're making fun of me because I'm fully developed. And now I'm like really body conscious, you know, and like in just not
little kids are nasty.
Yeah, not comfortable. So, you know, and then growing up, my mom, God rest her soul, she wasn't perfect, but when we would fight and stuff, because when growing up, she was younger and she was skinny and like really fit, even though while I was growing up, she was like close to a 300-pound woman. So why do you think I got these bad habits? Because she had bad habits. But she would look at me and think I should have been skinnier because she was skinnier when she was younger.
That's it.
So she would call me fatso, you know? And so I just always had these issues, and I always had the chubby cheeks, you know, like, and so I tried losing weight, and I didn't realize it until now, literally until now, that when I got to college after foster care, I literally disassociated myself. Yeah. Just dealing with everything that I was going through, and I was eating, and I didn't even, like, I always would tell people, I don't even eat that much.
Yeah, like, but you did though.
I guess I did, yeah, because now like that I eat. So I had weight loss surgery. That's why I lost the weight.
That's a good way to do it, though. Sometimes it's tough to do on your own. But I was
embarrassed about it because I tried so long to try to lose it on my own. And, like, part of it was genetics, right? Yeah. And then the other part of it was just poor choices in lifestyle. And so now I physically cannot eat too much without getting sick. Right. Because my stomach is smaller and some of my intestines have been removed. And so now when I eat, I'm like, oh, yeah, I was for sure overeating because I would finish everything on my plate and sometimes go for seconds.
As a kid, did your mom used to tell you to finish your food before you 100%. Did the task? And I had just learned that is like a real deal thing.
It's a big component to why Americans are overweight now. Yeah,
even when my daughter, I recently took her to the doctor maybe about 6 months ago, and I said, well, you know, like she's not eating like the full meal or whatever. And the doctor was like, look, let her eat whatever she wants to eat, pack it up, and then have her eat it when she says she's hungry again. Yeah. So I've been doing that.
That's good.
And the great thing is that she's been getting taller. I don't want her to be like, you know, I'm big. I mean, let's be real. My mom big too, right? So it's like, I don't want them to be like that though. Right. And so I'm active. I'm running around. That's why when you met me today, like, yo, we did baseball. You know, I did golf with my daughter yesterday. I go to the gym Monday through Friday. We moving every day. I don't want them to ever like get to that point. So I feel you on that.
That's a beautiful thing that you're doing that because my mom didn't instill healthy habits in me. She's a single mom, so she did the best that she could, but she's working, you know? So it's like I'm on latchkey at like 10 years old, you know, and I'm coming home and I'm sitting in front of the TV watching a show and helping myself to snacks. Like I'm the one that asked to get into sports and like did that on my own. But like she wasn't like, let's work out, let's go to the park. Like she wasn't like getting me out of the house. And so I had really poor habits. And of course, I'm not going to build muscle and I'm not going to, you know, eat healthy and make those decisions because she's, you know, I'm a picky eater too, so it's like boiled pasta every single night is what I'm eating.
That stuff's heavy.
and it's easy for her to make than her to try to make all these meals and I'm not even going to eat it. So, you know, just ignorance is bliss until you learn better. And like now that I'm an adult, like I've learned about health and nutrition and I try to work out at least 5 times a week. And, you know, now I'm very mindful of the things that I'm putting in my body and having more protein and, you know, having more balanced meals. And I just didn't know any of these things before. So it's almost like after weight loss surgery, I had an opportunity to do a reset, but that still left scars. You know, I have like little laparoscopic scars and I have stretch marks from being big and loose skins in certain places. But I was so embarrassed of owning that truth because I felt like I failed myself. Like I knew that I was the reason that I got too big because I overate. And then I felt like I took the easy way out by getting the procedure instead of being able to lose it on my own. And so I hid that truth for so long in fear of judgment. But now I'm realizing that it's just part of my journey and there's nothing to hide or run from. Like the reality is that I made a choice that I felt like was going to impact my life in a better way and help me to live a healthier lifestyle. And so far it has, but I have my other issues. Like some days if I don't eat well, like your gut health really affects your mental health. Like sometimes like if I'm not feeling good in my stomach, then I'm not feeling good in my mind and I can be depressed all day, you know? And like, if I really want to enjoy my meal and I can't eat that day, like that impacts your mood, you know?
Would you say you're like self-conscious? Like you care what others think?
Not anymore, but I used to.
You used to be.
Yeah.
Mom, can you check and make sure, like I said, we break through the wall. Can you check and make sure, like plug in my phone to don't turn anything off. Just plug it in to make sure that it's charged up. Use that charger, the big bolt. There, she'll find it. What I was thinking was in regards to like asking you all this and stuff like that, right? It's like there was a study that I had learned in college, right? And I love that you said you went to an all-white school. If Lex was here, I would love to have this conversation with him here because he's hilarious. He's a white guy that loves dating black women. I don't know where he be finding it. He loves dating black women. As long as I've known him, that's his MO. He has, half black children too. But what I've learned is in my experience, right, I've been around black women for a long time, right? And I know that them and Asian men are the ones that are stereotyped the most in terms of like, it's hard for them to find someone outside of their race. But all the black women that I would run into always had like this self-awareness. Now, my wife is Latino, but again, even when I've learned when she's been around our black friends and hang with them, like when we get home, it's a whole new her.
Yep.
There's a lot of self-confidence there, right? And how she speaks and stuff like that. And what I've learned is that there's a spiritual connection to it, right? Component. A lot of black women are either single mothers and stuff like that, and they're really close to God, and there's a lot of self-worth. And even though we've been down as a people or whatever, and I never experienced like what you're talking about until I ventured out into the world and met and had more experiences with white people. This neighborhood that we're in right now wasn't like that. It was more black and Latino families, and I seen like that either the strong Latino pride in the home and stuff like that, or even with black women, seeing that my aunt, my mom, they all gonna tell you how they feel about something. They don't care if you say something negative, right? So like the you that you're talking about and breaking out in your shell, I feel like the biggest thing is, and it's great that you're basically saying that, look, I don't really care what anyone thinks about me. I'm going to lay it all out on the table now.
That's right.
And that type of bravado is like what I've been used to seeing, right? And so I'm glad to hear that you're there. And I wanted to tell you face to face that part of your journey and part of your healing is that attitude. Well,
it's interesting that you say that is part of the Latino and black community being that way, because another thing that impacted me hiding behind my truth is actually the opposite of what you're saying.
Let's hear it.
Yeah. So when I got into foster care, so I was 15 when I went into the foster care system, and I was fortunate enough to only live with one family. And that family was a Puerto Rican family. And my foster mom, she told me, so I went from being in an all-white school with very few minorities.
Right.
But the minorities that were in that school were my friends, because those are the only people that accepted me. Because I looked like them. I was curvy. I had darker features.
You see what I'm saying? There we go. All right, we on the same wavelength.
I've dated black men my entire life since I was 13. Like, every boyfriend I've ever had has been black.
There we go.
That's how it's always been.
We appreciate thickness a little bit. That's why I tell my wife, I'm like, look, man, I don't care if you look great. Go ahead.
Because they always appreciated my body for what it was, even when I was heavier or curvy, until it became popular. Then all of a sudden Kardashians got popular. I get to college and everybody likes
the 180
me.
Up.
The Asians, the whites, anything you could think of, the Indians. And I'm like, what's in the water here? The Kardashians is what's in the water. So that's when things started to shift, honestly. But no, once I got into high school and I was in foster care, my foster mother told me, you're going to a different school now. This is a school that's predominantly black and Hispanic.
Right.
And you're the minority now. And if you don't want to get your ass beat in school,
that's real.
You better tell them that you're half Puerto Rican, because they're going to believe
real,
you.
Yeah. That's real, though. Yeah. I feel you on that.
She's like, they're going to believe you because you know the culture, because you cook the food and you dance the dances and you speak enough Spanish to get by, and you got green eyes like me, and just tell. And that was the other thing. She said, don't tell them you're a foster child, because they will come for you.
Yeah, there's a stigma.
And so she was like, her whole thing was like trying to protect me, but like me and my 5 foster sisters would go into school every day telling everybody we're real sisters and we all had different dads. So we made our mom look like she was a whore. But at the end of the day, she was like, as long as you guys aren't putting it out there that you're a foster child. So I literally had identity issues all throughout high school into the early stages of college, where I identified as half Italian, half Puerto Rican. I believed it to the point that when I got into my sorority, I picked my sorority because it was based on multiculturalism and diversity. And I had AKAs trying to recruit me, but then I also had Latina organizations trying to recruit me. And I'm like, I don't want to have to just pigeonhole myself into one organization that's known for being a certain race.
Right.
What spoke to me about Omega Phi Chi was the fact that it was founded by 8 diverse women of all different backgrounds. Yeah. And so even still, I wasn't owning my truth. Like when I first crossed into my sorority, all my sisters thought that I was half Puerto Rican, half Italian. And I was actually on the board of the Adelante, which is the Latino student organization on campus.
Right.
And so I was literally living a lie. And it wasn't until I want to say junior or senior year
of college.
There
we go. Okay.
That I finally said, guys, I'm actually not Hispanic or Latina at all.
So what do you identify as today then in comparison? But finish off what you're saying.
So I own that truth, and I told them I'm not. And now I just tell people I'm Italian Sicilian from my mom. And I ended up finally meeting my dad for the first time a month after I turned 29. So this was way after college.
God, I wish Lex was here. He just met his dad.
Wow.
Like recently, like in the last 2 years, 3 years.
I would have loved to have talked to him.
And he's in Buffalo. His dad's in on the East Coast.
Wow.
Crazy. Go ahead, though.
Might have to do episode 2.
I know. You come back and hey, I get to hear it in his voice. He was kind of sick. He loves body.
My dad, he's Jewish, and I had to continuously ask my grandmother, Judaism is a religion. Like, what are we? Right. And I finally got to the bottom of it. So her parents were from Russia and Israel. Okay. And her husband, my grandfather, is from Poland. So I'm Italian, Sicilian, Russian, Israeli, and Polish.
Oh, you got a whole bunch of soul searching to do.
Yeah, I'm a mutt for sure.
You got a whole bunch of soul searching.
Yeah, yep. But that's what I love about it, is the fact that like I don't have to pigeonhole myself into just one thing. Yeah. Like, I'm Victoria. I'm 100% self-made, and I was adopted 3 days before I turned 18 by my foster family. And these people ended up not being the greatest people. Like the motives that they have were all based off of financial gain. And I was so naive. I didn't even know at the time. And ultimately, my last name was changed to Marquez 3 days before I turned 18. And that name followed me through college in the early stages of being an adult. And just in 2020, probably just before I met you, December 2020, maybe was it after? Maybe it was after I met you. I changed my last name to Rose, which is my middle name, because I'm 100% self-made.
I see what you did here now. You got me. Because when I first listened, like your introduction of the pod, my critique was like, damn, I don't even know what issues we're going to talk about. But the fact that you're here right now, I know what you have to talk about now. There's a lot of things that I can see why the intro's like, look, this is what I'm going to talk about, but I'm about to break it down.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you're giving us you. Like, I see what you're doing now. Because before, like if I had never met you, I would have thought you was like a bot, right? Based on how the page is and stuff. Like, without meeting you, I'm like, oh, she's a bot. But there's a genuine person under there that is like in search of finding themselves and finding their own truths and breaking down barriers and saying, hey, look, this is who I am. You have a dope ass story. My advice to you is to fucking like lead with that.
Yeah.
Like lean heavily on that, because you're gonna find the tribe that you're looking for based off of that genuality.
That's the goal.
Yeah, like that's
this
fire.
Is the thing. Like the people that I've gotten to know well and I built relationships with and connection with over the years, it was always the same pattern that kept repeating, where people would tell me, Victoria, who you are on social media doesn't match who you truly are. There's a disconnect. Right. And I never really understood. Like, I knew, because I was hearing it all the time, and I'm like, if enough people say it's got to be true, right? But now I finally know what it is that they're talking about, because all I was showing was this picture perfect image of who I am now. Right. But nobody knows who I truly am on the inside, like how my heart is. Right. And that's honestly my greatest strength. That's my greatest asset. Like, people will ask all the time, like, what is your best asset? My answer is always my heart. And now you get a chance to be able to demonstrate that, right? That's actually dope. Yeah, because even then,
That's funny how life is so random like that, right? You were on a mountain, it's timing, right? We finished putting all of our shit together at the time, started recording, you walked down, and that meeting, right? That simple meeting where we met for 10 minutes led us to having this long ass conversation and then seeing your journey, right?
Right.
And me telling you like, all right, well, based off of meeting you, this is what my assumptions were about you, you know, at the time. And now I can talk.
Welcome to the club.
And then it's like, yo, but now you're potting, and now I can tell you like, Faye, because I wouldn't have a reason to just, you don't seem real right now. That doesn't seem genuine for me to do. Right. Because part of what you're saying is, yes, that's what you're displaying people. But also what they're talking about is what their experiences are with people that are successful, that, you know, look the way you do, right? They sometimes like how people perceive others is based off of their experiences too.
100%.
Just like I was telling you my story with Jonah. Like my perception of him, right, was based off of my experiences of looking at him, but not having a genuine conversation with him. So that onus isn't just purely on you; it's on other people too. So that, you know, don't hold your head too high on that one. Yeah. So
thank you.
What's your long-term goals for the pod? Let me check the time while you're doing that.
The long-term goals is I really just want to work on my healing journey, and we talked about that a little bit already. You know, I think the best way to do that is to just start telling my story, you know, not hiding behind my truths, because when you're not honest and you hide behind certain things, then they rear their ugly head. And in relationships, you know, like people think they're healed, and it's easy to think that when you're by yourself, but really you realize whether or not you're healed when you get triggered, and you get triggered by being in relations with others. And so, you know, I just want people to hold me accountable. I want to build a community, and I just want to start telling my story, because I think by telling my story, I have so many different people to connect with. Now that I've shared some of it with you, I mean, I have people that have been in the foster care system, people that come from broken homes that are with single parents.
The sky is the limit for you.
Yeah. People that had an absent parent, you know, people that were overweight, and people that were discriminated against for being overweight, but then discriminated against for being too pretty.
Grieving. People
that have grieved, you know, and I've, you know, bought real estate, and I'm an entrepreneur, and there's just so many different hats that I've worn in my life that I feel like I can connect with people from all different walks of life. And so I don't want to just narrow myself down to only connecting with women or only connecting with like I can connect with anybody. Right. And I just want to invite any and all people to join me on this journey.
And be a chameleon in that. So how could we help you be, or you said that you want to hold yourself accountable. How could you hold yourself accountable, right? What are the steps that you would take, and how could we as listeners hold you accountable?
Challenge me on things that I say. If you don't agree with them, tell me your opinion. You know, let's have a conversation. Show me your perspective and point of view. I think it got out of control during the pandemic, a little bit with BLM. Yes. And then, you know, with the vax versus non-vax, and there became this spirit of cancel culture. You either see things my way, or if you don't see them my way, then I don't have space for you in my life, and I'm going to block you. I'm going to cancel you, and you're not my people. And I think that's such a disservice to
everyone
evolving as human, right? Because you're never going to see eye to eye with someone on everything. And I think having a difference in opinions and having a healthy debate or conversation is healthy, and it's good. And it makes us humble. It keeps us humble. And so, you know, I might not always agree with what you say, but share your opinion with me, and let's have a conversation about it, because you might just change my mind.
And that's what I tell like Lex, like some people will hit me up like I'm trying to get our YouTube numbers to what and that was me just doing 100 or 200 episodes of just doing iTunes and shit. But that's what I was telling Lex. I was like, look, man, like if we don't agree on something, I don't expect for us to walk away from this, like these chairs, and agree, right? So like the first 10 or 15 episodes, like he would argue like how we would argue at the house, right? When these are off. Like I have to see his point of view, and I would argue like him. Like, bro, at the end of the day, as long as this shit is entertaining, right? You can stay on that side of the fence, I stay on this side, and we can move on. I'm gonna put my point. Yeah, exactly. Right. And people will text me like, "Yo, you wrong." I don't give a damn. That was 4 days ago, bro. Yeah. Like, I'm not worried about.
Next.
Yeah, so it's like I don't worry. Like, were you entertained? Like, it shit had you locked in. Cool. That's all my job is to make sure. Like, my purpose in doing this pod, so that we're just being honest with each other, is I don't care about the money. So that's why I'm slower to do things, right?
Yeah.
Earlier on, I would try to sell shirts and, go outside and do all that other shit and like leave stuff around. It's like, nah, people who's going to see it, they're going to see it and they're going to fuck with it. And I've had consistent people for 5 years. You know what I mean? To where
you find your tribe, and that's all that matters. That's like, as long as you find your tribe and you have the people that support you, then that's the legacy that you leave behind.
Absolutely.
And that's the most important thing to me, because as I'm getting older, I'm 35 now, and I thought that I just met the love of my life and was going to have children with him, and that doesn't seem to be a reality anymore. And I don't know if I'm going to find true love again. I don't know if I'm going to find my person. So if I don't have children, what's the legacy that I'm going to leave behind? And that's going to be helping people to heal and bringing them closer to God.
You still got time. You
got time.
So. and I'm sure like the way the way you look, like, you just gotta weed through all the bullshit. I saw one of the things you said, like, yo, I don't need no more projects in my life. Nope. Like, I need somebody, and I be telling him, I be like, yo, I need, like, when I was looking for a chick, like, yo, you need healthcare. Like, you need to be able to take care of yourself, like, have dental and shit. All that other shit, we can figure it out. Help my wife start her business 2 years ago or whatever, and we've been good ever since. Yeah. So I feel you on that. Like, yo, just give me the bare minimum. Show me that, like, you got, like, what you need. And she's great. She makes more cash than I do now, so she just got to deal with the taxes. So that's how life is, though. Where can we find your podcast?
You can find me on all major streaming platforms, but YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. I think we're even like on iHeartRadio and Amazon. If you actually go to my Instagram, she.is.victoriarose, and click the link in my bio, the link tree, there's actually icons to all the different major streaming platforms and all the ways you can connect with me there.
There we go. So, and what was the name of it again?
The name of the
podcast. Tell us how you got to the name. I love that. Yeah, I like that. I listened to it. I was like, okay, now there's some sense in all that. And even broke it down to the acronym. I was like, she got the mathematics down. Go ahead. Let me hear it, though.
It's called the Glam Design, and it's an acronym that stands for Growing, Learning, Achieving, Motivating, and Believing. And
then you also used it for something else before, right? Because you're a woman of many hats now that I've seen it and heard you talk a little bit.
Yeah, so I first was given the idea by a coworker. She came to me and said, Victoria, God came down and spoke to me, and he told me to tell you, you have a voice and people will listen to you. And I was like, really? God came down and spoke to you and told you to give me this message? That's crazy.
That's always dangerous when people say that to me, too. I'm like, yo, God,
she got a direct line to God. Like, let me rub shoulders with you.
Yeah.
And I was really trying to figure it out. And that's honestly how the glam started, because at the time I was doing makeup, and it was called, my Instagram name was Glammed by Victoria. And I was very much using Instagram for superficial reasons, you know, and I was very convicted in my faith at the time. And I was trying to find my purpose. I was reading a book called Purpose Driven Life. And I was resonating with the message she gave me and trying to figure it out. And so after wrestling back and forth with it quite a bit, I said, okay, I know what I'm supposed to do now. Like, I'm supposed to write a blog, and it's going to be called The Glam. It's called the Millennial Girls Guide. And it was a blog geared towards Christian millennial women, showing my scars so that others know that they can heal. And so I started to pursue this purpose back then.
Yes.
And then I changed my Instagram name to the .glam. And it stood for, I'm like, everyone knows me as the glam girl, you know, like, but
you blinging right now. That's why I was like, yo, she glamming right now.
But there's this other side of me that people don't know about. And I'm a lamb. I'm a follower of Christ. Like, I have a heart for God. And so I basically renamed myself the Glam Lamb. And the B is silent. And so I was writing and got imposter syndrome, figured nobody's going to read. I'm not doing the numbers that I thought that I would do. And I stopped, and here we are again, Timing's everything.
It takes time. What I tried to do is I tried to live true to what you wanted, like your people to do, which was to challenge you, right? Yeah. That's why I was like, yo, give me some time. Like, I'll flow through life. Some questions will pop up. I usually got to flow through life. And I was like, let me challenge her. I was going to dig a little deeper, but I already see you about to do that on your own anyway. So that intro was just the intro. And she came in and had me dying. She was like, yeah, hey, what I went over yesterday, whenever you go drop it, she's like, yo, that was a lot. So I was like, yo. I threw up. Well, see, there's a somatic experience for you right there.
I posted it on Insta too. I was like, I feel like
I missed that one. I'm glad. I don't need to see you like that.
Go watch it.
Oh, man. All right, so here we go. I normally do different segments. I know you got to dip out, so I'll keep it at 20 minutes or whatever. But I do different segments. So this one's random shit to fill in time, right? So someone owes you $200 for over a year now, right? Let's give it context. You pissed off, right? Not to the man like, oh, it's gonna break the bank. It's like, bro, I know you owe me money though, right? They leave $75 at your house. You giving it back to them?
They leave it at my house?
Yeah, just random. They come over and they drop it like on the cedar.
Mine. That's mine. First of all, I don't lend money, so that would never happen.
$200 be like, nah, I need that. You go ahead and ask somebody.
If I ever did lend money, real talk, I don't ever expect to get it back because you give without expecting to receive, which is why a lot of times I don't give and I don't mix money and friends because I'm like, I'm not in a position to just be handing checks out like that. Not yet, at least.
Did you have an experience that got you to that? I think we all do. I want to know what yours was, though.
No, I'm just...
So you've always been like that?
Oh, yeah. I'm cheap. And my friends would always why is Victoria like this? Why is she so frugal? I think a lot of it is because I grew up with a single mother. We didn't have a lot.
Right.
It was look, don't touch. And the other day I posted, I'm not sure if you saw, I will literally still, I make good money now. I'm good. You know, I got investments, all this. I will still cut the toothpaste open and get whatever's left in there. Because it's just an old habit, you know?
I was like, she fronting, but now hearing your story, you're not joking.
But then my friends started giving me shit because they found out that I'm Jewish from my dad's side. And they're like, oh, makes
sense. They give you no type of credit. Now, you're right. So recently, I got some people that I that I really fuck with, man. And I told my mans about 4 or 5 years ago, I was like, look, man, I'm done helping people. Yo, bro, if I see you out on Instagram or if I see you out somewhere in the spot and you living a life that you just not really humble, I'm not about to help you, right? Yeah. I got kids and shit now. I'm not just about to be lending money. Yeah. So I've lent out money last year and the year before, right? Knowing the principle that you're talking about. Nothing crazy, right?
Right.
So I was like, yo, I think I gave somebody $100. Another person 75 or something like that. And I have a conversation with my wife about before even doing it. Look, they asked for this. I'm going to do that. And I'm going to tell them yo, this is it. Don't come asking me again. And, I don't expect to get this back. So you asked for 50. I'm going to give you 100 because, you talking about food and groceries. It's San Diego, right?
Yeah.
You going to need a little more. So here's an extra 50.
Ain't getting you anything.
Yeah, I'm going to give you another 50 just so you don't ask me for nothing else.
Right.
That's and on my birthday, one of the persons that I lend money out to gave me the money back.
Wow.
And I was like, yo, you didn't have to. That's crazy. I'm going to keep this shit, right? Yeah, obviously. Yeah. But you didn't have to.
That's
but in regards to this, yo, if I have my man's, he has a friend and he was in the middle of buying a house right now. We just found out. But he borrowed $100 from dude last year. Mm-hmm. Now, you bought a house, I bought a house. And you bought a new development, right? So I know that you had at least $15,000 on you, right? You got to put the down payment.
For the down payment.
And they're not even out here. They're out in middle of California, I'll say, in case somebody's listening. But it's bro, pay that man back.
Yeah.
You got the house and everything that you needed, man. Pay that man back, bro. We've been friends for way too long for you to say that, oh, I'm down on my luck, and then 8 months later you're going to go and buy a house.
That's crazy.
So based on that logic,
I don't even borrow money from people. It's hard for me to ask for help.
Yeah, it's tough.
But I've always just found a way. I mean, everything I've been through, I just figure it out. Failing is not an option.
In that regard, I would identify with you. I give a fuck what people think about if I ask them for money. In that regard, I gotta have.
But that's also, I think, why I'm a little bit more frugal because it's I know I only got me. Yeah. And so I need to save because if shit hits the fan, I only got me. Right. So I can't be saving everybody else. And then when I need something, I don't have anything. So I sometimes, and I've been working on this in my mindset lately, is trying to lead with a more abundant mindset and not so much scarcity, because I hoard. And I have, a decent bank account. Right. And in months where I might not have a good month as an entrepreneur, and I start, whining and crying to my earth mama, as like my mother figure that I have. Right. She's like, child, your bank account is fine. Like there's people that are worrying how they're going to pay their rent next month or how they're going to feed themselves. And then she like knocks me back to reality. Like, why am I tripping right now? Like I have more than 6 months saved up if shit were to hit the fan, you know?
Because like the common thing for middle class people, like in general, is that we about 3 paychecks away from being broke is what they say. Yeah. Right. So if she got me into the whole banking thing, so I have to make sure that I save and do things appropriate. We got a house and everything, but the mindset that you got right now, I love to act like I'm still broke. Yeah. I ain't got it.
Yep. That's always I ain't got it. Nope, I'm good.
Just like when they seen Lex right here. That's funny because somebody said he looked like Adam Sandler when he dressed up. That shit was funny because he owns properties. Yeah. You know what I mean? But he would act broke and humble and like I was laughing. I went to the taco shop and there was a man up there. I shouldn't have laughed, but the shit was funny to me, right? Bro was like, yo, y'all do military discount?
No, seriously. Wherever I can get a discount, I'm an ass.
I ain't mad at you. That's why I said I got it. And Lex said, you know what? I was like, yo, 20% off of a burrito is kind of crazy. Lex said, I need my $3. Like, stop playing with me. So I felt him. You know what I mean? This shit was funny as hell.
No, the guy that I just broke up with, he's like, I knew you were wifey when I wanted to take you out to brunch, and you were like, babe, you just took me out every single day for the past 3-4 days. Yeah. Why don't I cook? Right. Like, let's stay in today. It doesn't have to be like the most. And he's used to all these LA girls just wanting to wine and dine them, and I'm like, no.
You've been here long enough if you could put that reference together. Go ahead, though.
You feel me? So, but another thing that...
What's that?
If a girl asks you to buy her this expensive purse or something like that...
What's my response?
Your response, if she can afford it herself, she needs to buy her own purse.
I just say I ain't gonna do that, but that's the long form.
Yeah, no, people literally look at me and call me high maintenance. I'm like, I maintenance myself. So if you can't keep up with what I do for myself, I'm not gonna have it.
There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. It's like a gift. It's a gift and a curse, though. It's funny that you said what you said, though. So my next question to you is what is the food a partner has told you that you make the best?
The food that I make the best.
Yes. Ooh. Like something that you home cook yourself, right? My man's asked me this last week and it fucked me up, and I went and asked my wife. I didn't like a response, but go ahead.
It's hard to pick one dish because I'm a really good cook. So like,
what's the one that gets them coming back for seconds and be like, hey, could you make that again? What's the top ones that you could think of?
Lasagna.
Okay, the Italian side is really popping out.
Lasagna, my empanadas that I make.
Okay, okay. So we know where you were staying for a little bit.
Yeah, no, 100%. Actually, majority of the food that I make is Puerto Rican. I also make a really good shrimp Alfredo. Yeah. And I make really good Puerto Rican style tacos.
Oh, okay. You got a whole plethora.
Yeah, I'm a great cook. I'm not a Betty Crocker. I can't bake for shit. Whatever's on the box, and we're gonna keep our fingers crossed.
My wife, so we don't I don't eat meat during the week. That's one of my ways of like trying to like stay at a certain size, you know, because I don't eat. It's not like, oh, I don't believe in like, or I want to be a vegan and all that other shit. It's just I just don't eat meat during the week because the shit that I would eat associated with meat, it'd be bad for me. So we eat a lot of vegetables and shit. So she makes like this fire ass lime rice that she got from Puesto. I don't know if you've ever been there, like that little Mexican fusion place.
Oh yeah, I've heard of it. Mm-hmm.
So they got like some lime rice, and so I ask her for that all the time. She didn't figure the first few batches, babe. I'm sorry, I'm being honest. First few batches was trash, but she done got it down to a science. Wow. Like she was like, hey, that was good. And I was like, yeah, me. She be like, you don't really cook shit. And I was like, damn, you got me. Because I get home at like 7 every night. But a little self-disclosure. When I was in college, I worked at a group home. Uh-huh. So the kids told me back then, they was like, yo, man, your chile verde is fire. I just ain't made it in a while again because it's meat, right? Yeah. So that was like, yo, and you can't lose with the La Victoria green sauce anyway, right? So, but that was the shit that I made that like, yo, they was like, oh, Thorpe, can you make that? Yeah, I'll go ahead and make that for you, man. I got you.
I might have to try some of that.
Yeah, I got to find a way to make it again, though. It's been about 5 years, man. I don't cook. My wife does everything for me. All right.
She's a good wifey.
Yeah, she's great. I thought she was going to be here today, but she out running the streets right now. So she left the kids here with me, though. I ain't mad at her. All right. We'll do one more, and then we'll get you out of here. All right?
Perfect.
All right. Now, I got this. Read them in week. Usually I read a story that, like, either we've had someone submit in or something that I found. But I actually heard this from a woman. And I wanted to get your take on it. Okay?
Hit me.
This is on Instagram, so we're going to have to listen to it. Here we go.
It's not on Facebook. And basically it says, men are not obsessed with women like they used to be. Y'all don't find that kind of weird? And to be honest, no, I don't find that kind of weird. Because what exactly is there for men to be obsessed with in today's world? Women have left no room for imagination, none whatsoever. It's like your sense of entitlement is out of control. Your expectations are unrealistic. Y'all walk around showing your bodies half dressed, half exposed 24/7, out smoking, drinking, partying 24/7, on the scene 24/7. A lot of y'all are not even coming with nothing to the table because you're too busy with your hand out trying to see what man got the next bag so he can sponsor your lifestyle to make you look like you're living a lifestyle to post on the internet. It's like a lot of y'all don't have common sense. A lot of y'all don't know how to hold a conversation. A lot of y'all don't have no originality about yourselves. Everybody is getting the same body. Everybody is getting the same hairstyle. Everybody looks the exact same. And it's like y'all get that confused. Oh, well, men like that. No, men will fuck that. But men are not wiping that and they're not cuffing that. And I think y'all are starting to realize that. And then the first thing y'all want to say is, oh, well, they're gay, they're sassy. No, they're not. They're just tired of what you guys are presenting. And if y'all are here to give them free pussy, free looks, and free everything they ain't got to work for, why would they? But they're never going to take you serious. So it seems to me like a lot of y'all are now starting to realize that you're either losing value or have lost value from chasing attention. And now that's something that y'all got to deal with, and y'all can't face that fact. Men love.
That's deep.
We could do a whole podcast episode on this alone.
That's deep.
Wow.
That's deep. I loved it, though, because, and I'll give you my perspective.
Oh, yeah. I got a lot to say. You start.
I ain't never really, as I've been in clubs, right? Like, and I've been out and traveled and shit. I was fortunate to have a friend that played in the league for a little bit, right? So we would run around in our early 20s and late 20s. He did a 9-year career, so we was running around for a while.
Right.
And we still good friends now. And that's why I told him, like, we went to school together. You know, he went to a rival college. He went to Boise. I went to Fresno and shit. So I would, hit him up. Now that he out the league, I still talk to him and shit. You know, his mom's stay close by and everything. I check on her. I've been helping his brother. Like we've been close. Right. But to the point where, like, I had been exposed to things that I ain't never seen before. Standing on top of couches, pouring bottles, seeing the different types of women and shit. I was in Fresno. It's different. Yeah. Like just different. The way they look and how they react when I get out there. I was wearing penny loafers my first Vegas trip. Right. So, yeah, I was looking crazy. By the time we get out there, I was like, oh yeah, y'all got high-low shirts. I need jeans and shit. We can wear this. Yeah, bro, you pay for the sex block. You can do it. So I've seen what people call quote unquote bad bitches, right? For lack of a better term. That's just the word that they use, right?
Right.
And when I have a conversation with them, right? And I'm not trying to down talk anyone or anything like that, but when I would have a conversation, it's like, it's not fruitful. Like, I'm not gaining nothing from this. Right. Like, I don't feel like if anything, I feel like you're something that I would have to take care of. I wish Lex was here for that. Yeah, a liability. Even the healthcare. Like, man, you look great right now, but damn, you ain't got no healthcare. You ain't been to the doctor in three years. You know what I mean? Like, so shit like that. And so I've always told my wife, like, yo, like, I don't go after that. I like the girls that, like, no offense, you look great, right? I go after the girls that don't, like, wear makeup and shit. I don't like waiting 3 hours. Now, she makes me wait 3 hours. I just be like, yo, start at 2 o'clock. We got to leave. Yeah. So, like, we've worked on that because I find my wife to be one of those bad ones, right?
Right.
But it takes longer. And even for y'all, like, I understand it takes longer because, like, we got some bullshit aside, too. Because what she said is, we will fuck that.
Yeah.
But we not wifing that. But at the same token, it's like, bro, why can't more men pour into these women? Right? Like, and meet them halfway. We all just out here just free for all in it. That's where I'm going to start with. I'm going to let you go ahead because you ready. You ready in the bullpen.
Busting at the seams. Yeah, so to your point, my ex actually played in the league for 5 years.
Oh, there we go. See, there we go.
So, you know, he lived that lifestyle. He's used to those kind of girls, and I look like one of those kind of girls. And most people didn't know about my past until recently, when I finally just came out and said, no, I used to be 250 pounds and I didn't always look like this. And, you know, it don't take me 3 hours to get ready. I used to be a makeup artist, so I'm pretty quick.
There you go.
But
no hate on my behalf.
You know, but at the end of the day, I have challenges in dating for that specific reason, because there are a lot of women out there that are delulu and think that just because they look good, that they deserve the world, and they come with a sense of entitlement. And I've been seeing all over Instagram, like, oh, he took me to Cheesecake Factory, but Cheesecake Factory is good. It is very good. And that menu, there are so many different things to choose from. Like, what is wrong with Cheesecake Factory? And it's just like, where do you get off with a sense of entitlement? Like, this man's trying to treat you to a meal, and whatever he wants to give you should be good enough. Like, the fact that you're sitting here trying to put a price tag on a man's generosity says a lot about who you are. Yeah. And, you know, the problem is that men allow it, and men go after these kind of women. And so they sit on their high horse, and so a woman who actually has sustenance and like has something to add, like the value to bring, like maybe she looks good on the outside but actually has a genuine heart, she's got a harder time dating. And I'm talking about me. I'm that woman, because these guys will pursue me thinking I look like women like that, and act that way maybe too, right? Yeah. And then, you know, they're just wanting one thing. And because relationships have become so transactional, like, oh, if I spend all this money on you, I'm going to get pussy. But then when I don't put out, or I'm not meeting them where it is that they want, now it's like they're just dropping me, and I actually like this person. You know, I wanted something real with them. And so it's hard to find those genuine connections. And I think that's one of the main reasons why my ex and I connected the way that we did, because he was like, wait, you look like these girls, but you actually like have a good heart. And
some tell me he would be back.
Who knows?
Would you welcome it? I'm here to ask the hard questions. I can't let you leave here without getting the hard ones off.
That's the hardest question you ask me all day.
You think he's gonna listen? You think he'll get an hour and 10 in?
I honestly don't think he'll. Well, mama always says they always come back. Right. This is the problem. I don't think he'll be back anytime soon. And if he does come back, it's going to be after I've already healed, and I was willing to work through the issues that broke us up. That's what this next episode. That's why I was throwing up, because it was the hardest episode I'm ever going to have to do. And
you're still processing it too,
I'm still processing it. But I think that has like an avoidant attachment style, and from what I've been learning, because I've been trying to educate myself about this, is when someone's avoidant, they push away the more you chase them, and they only come back when they feel safe. And so I don't know if he's ever going to feel safe after I put this podcast episode out. That's the honest truth. And so if and when that time comes where he feels safe again, I feel like it could be months or even years from now. And at that point, so much more damage has been done, because my abandonment issues are triggered. Like, this man made me a promise and told me that I was the one, and he was going to wake up every day committed to loving me no matter how hard it got, because he decided on me, and that's what you do when you love someone unconditionally, and he broke that promise to me. So to answer the hard question you asked me, would I welcome him back? I am still in love with him, and I can't just turn love off like that. So I want to say yes, but I also have to stay true to the reality of the new scars that have been made. And so, like, there would have to be intense therapy.
I love this. Devil's advocate. What if he came back a better man for it, based off of what we just heard right now? Right?
I would welcome that. But it's like, the best apology is change behavior. And in the time
you would have to see it first before you would welcome it. I get what you're saying.
Because in the time that we were together, like, this man was perfect. Like, he did no wrong until we had our first argument, and that literally ended everything. And that's when I saw a whole other side of him. Like, he ran from conflict instead of dealing with it. So am I going to be jumping in head first at the thought of being committed to someone like that? what happens if I have your child and you abandon us? Or what happens if I'm your wife and you leave me? Like,
all valid
my
questions.
biggest concerns in life are going through a divorce or being a single parent. Like, I do not want to have a broken family.
Right.
I came from that, and I have tried my hardest to, I think the single most important decision that anyone can make in life is who they decide to procreate with. And if you don't pay attention to the red flags early on, you can end up in really, really traumatic and harmful situations. And I don't want my children to have a father who can't weather the storm.
Right. It's a big deal. You're right. You know, it's funny, like even my wife is older than me. She's 37. I believe. Let me make sure I'm not fucking that up. Yeah,
How old are you?
I just turned 34.
Okay.
So she's 3 years older than me.
Yeah.
And then my son is my stepson.
Okay.
And so then we share a daughter together. But like, I know what you mean, because even on the other side of that, I don't have many conversations with his dad about certain things, right? But like, the respect factor is like, whenever he's with us, like, we working on something, you know, sports, whatever. And then if it's his time, some days I got to go pick him up. Like, we are cordial in that sense, right? We're not going to probably on his behalf, again, I get what you're saying. Like, we're not going to have that type of conversation. So it is a big decision, right? Because even, and how it affects others. Right. Because like, if it doesn't work out between me and this, gentleman, like, I still got to deal with him, even if I find someone else on the other side. Right. Right. And so that's tough. Right. And then what I've learned is, even for my wife and myself, like, the older I got, the pool got smaller. Like, did this gentleman have kids already? No. Yeah. And it's like, how hard is it? It's really hard to find a single man with no kids, above the age of 32 or 33 or whatever, got a good job, healthcare. Obviously, I keep going with the healthcare. Good job, healthcare, can take care of their old shit.
Over 6 foot.
Over 6 foot, yeah.
Looks good, smells good.
You got to punch it in at an app right there in the filter. You know what I mean? Yeah, and not running the clubs all the time, right? Because I got some homies.
I had a winner, believe me. I knew. I had a winner.
But it ain't over, right? Because like I said, the great part about like being in what like society like has as an attractive woman for all y'all that's out there, right, is that they gonna keep coming. You just have to filter through, and that's the fucked up part. Yeah. Nobody wants to go through that, but
it's the hardest part.
I think that all the assets that you have, because I know a lot of women like in this bracket between like 30 and 36, 37. I get it. Like, a lot of us motherfuckers is just not. My wife told me the first week, after like dating and stuff, we knew each other for a while. She's like, look, we're not gonna keep doing this. Fuck me up, right? I was like, the hell you mean we're not gonna keep doing this? She's like, nah, like, you need to make a decision. Like, we're gonna be together or not. Right. Nobody's ever challenged me like that.
I didn't even have to do that with him.
That's what I'm saying. You get what I'm saying?
He was like all in from the beginning.
And that's fire. She only had to say it, but I think 0.5 went by, like 0.5 seconds. I'm like, oh, we together then. We have not been broken up since 6 years now. So,
wow, that's beautiful.
Like, that's just been like the whole night. So I believe in your journey. Right?
I do think that my dating prospects are going to get better since I'm starting on this journey. And I'm going to tell you why.
Has anyone shot at you?
2 exes have come back already. Okay. And I just got a long message from a guy today professing his love to me that I met like professionally.
Did you feel it?
I'm not into him.
Okay.
I haven't responded.
That's the hard part.
That's the hard part. That's the hard part. But it's
man,
like, but that's what I'm
rough.
saying is like, most people are intimidated with the way that I look. And so they don't even want to shoot their shot because they're like, oh, she looks like she's going to be expensive. Or she looks like she's going to be a headache.
Or turn me down.
Reject me. And so, you'd be surprised. I really don't get hit on as much as you would think.
That's crazy.
Yeah. But that's the reason why. And I think now having this platform where I'm showing my vulnerability and I'm showing my heart, people are going to feel inclined to be more open with me and meet me where I am and see me for who I really am.
Generalizations are fucked up. That's what we're talking about. People making generalizations. Oh,
like, it's already happening. Yeah. Like, people are like feeling more comfortable coming to me. Like I said, 2 exes already came back. And now this
They was waiting the whole time. They was waiting.
Yeah.
I know how brothers roll, man. They was waiting the whole time. That's just how it be. But I feel like, like I said, like, I feel like your prospects, like, you got your own business. Like, they gonna keep coming even past this little point. Like, for the rest of your life, if you were single, you just watch out. Like, you gotta have to get out the way real quick. No, don't mess with me.
Just know the next man that I post, that's gonna be my husband.
There we go. And I gotta make sure they come correct now. I like, yo, don't mess with sis like that. Like, she not taking no more drama in her life. Don't do that. Don't do that. All right, so this is the part of the show where we do any shout outs or anything that like you want to like applaud to anyone. So I call it 3 cheers and then we out of here. So 3 cheers. Anything you can shout out your pod, you can shout out healing, anything. What you got?
I want to give a shout out to my mama.
There we go.
Earth mama. I met her at work. She was my work mom, and she stepped into basically being my real mom. And she's just been my constant, my rock, the person who holds me accountable, keeps me honest. And I love her to death. So I want to give a shout out to her for just giving me the unconditional love that I've always wanted.
Yes.
And I want to give a shout out to my ex.
Yeah.
Because
all of them are just the recent one.
The recent one.
There we go. Okay.
Yeah, because I learned so much from him, and I'm really grateful for him encouraging me to pursue this purpose and passion. And it sucks the way things ended, but it pushed me closer to where I needed to be.
Right.
So
and you're having
for
difficult conversations now, man.
Yeah.
You know what? This is gonna come off real corny, but I'm gonna shout you out for holding it down, because I came in here like ready to get like, man, I don't even think she's ready to like uncover some of the hard shit I want to ask her and everything.
I knew you didn't think I was.
Yeah, and I rolled through it. You probably got the tone of some of the questions I sent you, and I was like, yo, I was like, and I was telling my wife, I was like, babe, I gotta hold her accountable and ask her these questions. I ain't seen the photos, and you took all that, and that's respect, and that let me know. Like, I fuck with your journey. I'm going to listen to him. She listened to it, too. Like, I was telling her, like, oh, you know, like.
What did she think?
She said the same thing. She was like, look, I don't know what she's going to really, how far she's going to delve into certain things. Mm-hmm. But I think she listens to all my episodes. So I think after listening to this, she's going to gain a little bit more perspective of, okay, what you have coming. Mm-hmm. And I think that will be interesting. The time is always like a fight with me, but I'm going back to work now, so I'm going to burn through a lot more pods. So I got time now, right? Yeah. So I can let you know. And you only had 20 minutes. Like, we do the long form, so I can do 20. Yeah. I did that from the gym all the way back over to here. So I was like, I can do the 20.
This next one is an hour and 15.
I'll still make it. As long as you're not hitting like the 3:15, 2 hour and 30 mark and hit me with the Joe Rogan shit. It's like, I can't do that, man. So... all right, man. I got nothing else. Let's let them know one more time where they can find your podcast at, and we'll get you out of here.
All streaming platforms, but yeah, hit the link tree. It's in my bio at she.is.Victoria Rose, and every possible way to connect with me is in that link.
There we go. In spirit of where we at in our lives right now,